What's going on, guys? This is BroncoJuggalo, and we are doing the final review today in the Evil Dead franchise. That's right, guys, we are doing Evil Dead 2013. Directed masterfully, I might add, by Fede Alvarez, starring Jane Levy as Mia and Shiloh Fernandez as David. This movie was produced by Sam Raimi, Robert Talbert, and Bruce Campbell, all people that worked on the original films. Of course, you know that. Our story is that David and his friends take his younger sister Mia to their family cabin in the woods to get her clean. She is a heroin addict, and it's time for her to sober up. Well, while they're there, they happen to discover a book, the Book of the Dead, and they read from it like a bunch of dumbasses. Or I should say, the one hippie-looking guy, he's a dumbass who reads from it. Even though somebody wrote right on the book, do not read this, do not write it, do not say it. Yeah, so, yeah, he's a dumbass. And they awaken the curse of the demons. Sound familiar? That's okay. This is a remake, and a reboot, and a sequel. According to director Fede Alvarez, this is actually a direct sequel to the original movie. Kind of like how, Halloween 2018 did this past year, and, a few other films, Leprechaun Returns. In fact, they even use audio during the credits of this film that was from the original film. With the audio is the tape recording by the archaeologist, or whatever the fuck he was, that discovered the Book of the Dead. They use voiceovers from Cheryl's characters from the original movie. The 73 Oldsmobile Delta that's in the front yard by the cabin, that is the original 73 Oldsmobile Delta from the original film. That Oldsmobile Delta belongs to Sam Raimi and has actually been in almost every single one of his movies in one fashion or another. That exact same car. They keep using it over and over again. It's kind of like the Sam Raimi trademark. If you look closely, you'll even find it in Spider-Man. Guys, this was a movie that some fans wanted, some fans didn't. But it was a movie I'm glad we got. This is, in my opinion, one of the best remakes that's ever been made. And you'll know that if you watch my top 10 remakes. And the fact that Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell got involved, that really helped push it through, in my opinion. Now, I also like that they didn't just try to copy Ash. They didn't just try to copy what Bruce Campbell did. Bruce Campbell was a one-of-a-kind thing. Ash is a one-of-a-kind character. Just like, in my opinion, Freddy Krueger, even though they tried with Jackie Earle Haley, and it wasn't his fault, he did a decent job. It's just that character is Robert Englund. Ash is Bruce Campbell. Chucky is Brad Dourif. Love you, Mark Hamill, but Chucky is Brad Dourif. Guys, I got no cons for this film. I love this movie. It is so fucking good. And when I was doing a little research on it, I came across something I thought was funny. Roper, the critic, Ebert and Roper, whatever, the guy that replaced Siskel when Siskel died, he said that he gave this movie 1 out of 4 stars. He said that the movie was unoriginal, a blatant ripoff, and relied too much on blood and gore and cheap scares to get the point across. And that he's liked horror movies for 30 years, but after 30 years of reviewing them, he's tired of seeing this crap. First off, you guys, you've never understood horror movies. I've watched your reviews since I was a kid. You've never fucking understood horror movies. Not that you're ever going to watch this review. But, hey, maybe there's an off chance you might. I doubt it. But hey, you don't understand horror. You never have. But that's why you're the critic, and I'm not. What did you expect? It's an Evil Dead movie. That's what these movies do. Blood, gore, and lots of it. Which leads me into my pros. Blood, gore, and lots of it. Absolutely fucking love it. The gore is beautifully done. It is gruesome. It is grotesque. It is vomit raising. It is scream-inducing. It's that good. The blood, there is blood by the buckets full, by the swimming pool full. We have blood, 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 and more blood, and I love every second of it. It rains blood in this movie. You know what's so great about all that gore and blood and all that good stuff? It's all practical effects. Fede Alvarez said there would be no CGI in this movie, and there wasn't. Everything you see in this movie is practical. The blood and the gore reminded me so much of the original. It just spews out of every corner. It gushes out of every orifice. And it's so cool. This movie is relentless. It is relentless in its onslaught of gore, scares, and this movie is scary. Now, I'm not saying I was scared, but there's a few points in this movie where I almost jumped a little. But you get a kid that's never seen Evil Dead or never seen these kind of movies, you put them in there, or even an adult, they're going to be scared shitless. Now, me, I'm desensitized. I watch this shit all the time. I love it. It's what I love. So it's really fucking tough to scare me, but they came pretty fucking close with this one. It's a scary fucking movie, and I love that. It doesn't stop. The pacing is perfect. There is not a dull moment in this movie ever. And Bruce Campbell said it best himself. We know what makes a boring movie because we would be bored by it. I cannot praise the directing of Fede Alvarez enough. I love this movie. I love his directing. I love what he did in Don't Breathe, the directing in that as well. I love the cinematography in this movie. I love at the end of this movie, spoilers guys, when it's raining blood and she's fighting, Mia is fighting the main demon. The, what's it called? The aberration or whatever. When she's fighting that and it's raining blood and the lighting is coming through because the cabin is on fire, it looks so good. It's lit so we can see every fucking detail, but yet it still feels dark and foreboding, and I love that. And that is something that Fede Alvarez does so well. If you have not seen Don't Breathe, watch that movie and tell me if it is not lit like a fucking motherfucker. Yes, I know I said fucking motherfucker. I do. I love the directing. I love the cinematography. I love the acting. All these actors did a great job. Bruce Campbell sent them an email saying this is going to be the toughest acting job you've ever had. Every other gig you go to from now on will be cake compared to this. And he was probably right. Sam Raimi had a reputation for putting his actors through hell. I think Fede Alvarez did quite a bit of that himself here. The final pro, guys, is the Easter eggs. Now, there are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie, nods to the original. The scene where we're gonna get you, we're gonna get... She deliberately did it in such a way that it was a throwback to the original. That kind of cute, sweet, innocent, kind of creepy as fuck look. The Delta, throwback there. Also, bringing about the fact that this is a sequel. The red dress, which they nod to Army of Darkness. And finally, my biggest one, Bruce Campbell showing up in the end credits, which hinted at the possibility that maybe we would see Ash and Mia together. The hypothetical storyline that I've heard repeated since this movie came out is that this movie does take place after part 1 and part 2. Ash has been off traveling through time fighting Deadites. He comes back to the same situation with Mia. Him and Mia kick some ass. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen. We got what we got with Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which I love. Oh, and by the way, I've had some requests to do a series overview of that. First off, I haven't watched the 3rd season yet, and I want to wrap this review series up this week. So I need time to watch that. So one of these days I might do that, but I'm really not into doing television reviews, guys, for the most part. And so even though I love that series, and I do love it, and Ash continues on, and they canceled it for some weird fucking reason that boggles my mind, I don't really at this time have any plans to do the overview of that. I'll give you the long and short notes of it, at least through seasons 1 and 2. Loved it, loved it. Gore, blood, guts, Ash, Bruce Campbell, the 2 new characters, Lucy Lawless, Everybody in that show is awesome. I love that show. So good. Season 3 just hit Netflix. I've yet to pick it up, so I can't wait to watch it on Netflix. So yeah, guys, I love this movie. I think it is one of the best remakes slash reboots slash sequels ever done. And I like how they did it that way too. Kind of in the way The Town That Dreaded Sundown did. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review series. I know I've had some issues. My voice has been fucked up. I had some background noise issues. I'm still working on my man cave a little bit right now, guys. So I'm still not really willing to show as much of it as I can. But that's my thoughts, guys. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite franchises as far as movies go. There are no bad films in this franchise. There really aren't. Every film in this movie is great. And it's going to be very hard to rank because I love this movie. But will my nostalgia for the other three win out over it? Will it not? Will I give it its due? Where will I rank it? This is going to be a very tough one. I don't talk about the Evil Dead franchise enough. And upon every rewatch, I find that I love it more and more. And I'm glad I do. And I'm glad I did this review series. I want to thank everybody who suggested it. Who, when I put out the poll, that answered this is one for me to do next. And thank you guys very much for everything. This is BroncoJuggalo saying, groovy.
It's funny cause they don't believe it. I'm not really sure why, but fuck it. That's on them.